and I see this fucking tweet from Tony Khan. And I swear to God, I looked at it like 3 times and thought it was fake. I thought it was fake because, you know, anyone can have a blue check, right?
Anyone could be
verified.
verified.
There is no way. This guy doesn't follow me. He's never tweeted me. There is no way that he actually tweeted this. Number one, proving that he was watching, which is bizarre. Why would you do that? Why would you put the competition over and show that you're watching some random SmackDown and a random moment in the telecast? Number two, putting down his own guy in the process, your guy, GC, the great Tony Schiavone, Atlanta sports legend, calling me a fraud and then saying that I am as much of a journalist as Tony Schiavone. Now I'm trying to think, like, what is the point that he is trying to prove here? He is trying to say that Schiavone isn't a journalist, which, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, GC, as an Atlanta guy, doesn't he kind of have a little bit of respect as like a media dude? Like,
I never knew Tony Schiavone as the wrestling guy. That was later told to me. He used to come on the radio in Atlanta, and I was just like, Tony Schiavone. And then when I was like 16 or 17, that's when I found out it's like, oh, yeah, he's massive in the world of pro wrestling.
But he has respect, right? People love him, admire him, right? He's not known as like a doofus.
I mean, no, definitely not a doofus. I mean, he was always mixed into like Atlanta news radio throughout my childhood.
So this guy's calling me a fraud, and then he's saying Tony Schiavone is as much of a journalist as me. I guess trying to imply that like he's not a real journalist and I'm not a real journalist.
I've had time to think about
your own guy in the process. Please go ahead.
I've had time to think about this. What he's saying is Tony appears on our television show and he is presented as this interviewer. You are now equivalent. You are appearing on their television show and you are doing this. But the implication is that neither of you is journalistically sound. Now he's why take a shot at your own guy? I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense.
You could have said that in a million different ways.
That's
right?
The comparison is like on our show, you're equivalent to this level of interviewing that's happening on our show as well. Is my read on it after thinking about it.
I mean, the real thing he should have done was not say anything because number one, why are you putting over, you know, the competition's broadcast? Your show is coming up. Nice little cheeky hashtag there on the tweet as well. But like this shit, I mean, you talk about an own goal, and I know Fulham's having a bit of a better season. They certainly haven't had a great run with the cons involved. But I mean, this was, you know, one of the all-time great own goals. And I just couldn't believe it. I really had to check multiple times. Was this really him? Now, to take a step back, he is still upset, clearly, over the fact that he gave me one of the all-time worst interviews and ignoring the fact that I have continuously praised the product ever since they launched around 3 years ago. It was just a bad interview, objectively a bad interview. Now, what's amazing about that interview is, you know, everyone loves to talk about, oh, he couldn't talk about this, he couldn't talk about that, legal this, legal that. First of all, like, where's the fucking legal, right? Where's the proof?
We've been waiting for a while on that.
Where's the proof? What legal are you guys talking about? You're going to compare this to this and that. Like, where's the what is this investigation that you guys keep talking about? But I just want to let you all know very clearly that I had asked Tony multiple times to come on the show. I stopped asking because I was told that, you know, he wasn't sure. I'm Nick Khan's guy. I work for BT, which is ridiculous. That's just a broadcast partner. That would be like saying to someone like Mark Ramundi that he shouldn't interview Bellator guys because he works for ESPN and UFC is on ESPN. Stupid. Anyway, I just stopped asking. They reached out to me several months later and said, do you want to have Tony on? I was like, really? Cool. Never said, don't ask about this. Don't ask about that. You don't think I was going to ask about these things? Anyone worth their salt is going to ask about these things. There was a million different ways that you could have answered those questions. But just to let you all know, at the time, I had no relationship with anyone, like in terms of business, anything like that. This was back in early October. So to now pin those questions on me appearing on SmackDown and all that stuff is a bullshit move because one has nothing to do with the other. He's just mad that he came off looking like a guy who didn't know how to handle these situations and only is comfortable promoting and talking on and on and on about a product when that's not really what the public wants to hear. And now he's trying to say, aha, look, this is why he asked me these questions, when it's all just silly bullshit, man. It's all just silly bullshit. And why do you care? Why do you really, really care? Like, all right, I said it was a bad interview. I've praised your product. Why are you so quick to run to your phone and tweet this in my moment? And so that's when I realized, I was like, old Ariel would have let this tweet and a guy like this bother him, I actually was like invigorated by it. I thought it was hilarious, and I was debating, like, do I tweet something back now? Do I wait? Let me just chew on this. Let me get the second hit out of the way, and then I'll deal with this. But the amazing thing is how the whole thing spread backstage. Everyone was, do you see the tweet? You see the tweet? You see the tweet? And like, I've just been here for 4 hours. Like, I don't even know a lot of these people. This is amazing. How could he have done? Was that really him? What blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, yeah, I guess it was really him. He doesn't follow me, but I guess it was really him. And I still feel kind of bad for Tony Schiavone that he was insulted in the process.
Wait,
bizarre. So then I go out, I do the second one. Yes, go ahead.
Wouldn't you say, like, the questions you were asking him in that ill-fated interview, wouldn't that be what journalism is? Wouldn't that be like the actual proof in the pudding of like what journalism is supposed to be?
This fucking guy doesn't know what journalism is. He has no idea.
He wants PR.
He wants he's no different than Dana. What I thought about tweeting back to him was, Dana's not going to shag you, mate, because I know he's just trying to,
that should have been the one.
Curry favor with his idol Dana White. Yeah, I was thinking of that one, but I thought it might have been too much of a deep cut for the wrestling audience. You know what I mean? But like, he's just trying to do that thing, and it hasn't worked for Dana, and it ain't going to work for Tony Khan. I can assure you.
He should want that.
What was it?
To the point, like, he's a promoter. Like, that's what he should like. He shouldn't be seeking journalistic integrity. Like, that's not what this program is. Anyway, my other thing is. Isn't it kind of wild that, like, to your point, like, you've been there 4 hours, all the people in the locker room are talking about it. Tony Khan is taking this shot at you. Like, it's almost like you're not even like part of this world. You're not like, you're dropped into it. And it's like, he's solely focused on you. He could have been watching that show, said nothing, said anything about the wrestling. Those guys suck. These guys suck. It's you specifically who are not related to this in any way, except for this one night. It's crazy.
For him to tweet that, how mad did he have to get, like, in his own
he's probably
home
pretty mad
to tweet that? The funniest, the best part, and you touched on it, is the hashtag AEW Rampage after it. Like, no one's watching that, dude. Yeah. Stop.
I wasn't sure if maybe he couldn't hear what I was saying. Maybe his connection was bad on his TV because it was snowing in Montreal. I don't know if it was snowing in Jacksonville. So I don't know if the connection was bad and he was like unclear about what he was seeing. Yeah. I don't know. So that's why, I wasn't sure, I wasn't sure like if his direct TV was off or something like that. It does happen. So then I get to the second hit. I'm among my people. I compare it to 1993, the banner, Canadians, the sports guy, all this stuff. And it's freaking great. And now the thing is building and it's building and it's building. And I then leave and I'm feeling pretty good. All right. Everyone's like, all right, we'll see you back tomorrow. I was like, okay, I guess I'll be back tomorrow. I don't, this is amazing.
It's like summer camp.
This
like
is
you just got dropped off.
And again,
like
I can't stress
mom and dad pick you up.
Old Ariel would have let this bother him. Old Ariel would have been down over this. Old Ariel would have been like reading
this
the
being
replies.
The Tony thing?
Yeah, the Tony thing.
Okay.
I was not going to let this guy who has built an amazing thing, all credit to him. This kid who, if it wasn't for his old man, wouldn't be. Let me tell you something. My dad gave me a lot, but as far as like MMA journalism and everything that I've built, that was all on me. All right. I'm very proud of what I built. I wasn't going to let this guy fucking soil my name, drag it through the mud, ruin my night. Montreal, a dream, a bucket list thing. And I know he's trying to get himself over on me because Lord knows he needs it. I wasn't going to let that happen. Absolutely not. And I could tell you a lot of other stuff about that interview that we didn't show, about how weird and bizarre that whole thing was, but I'm not going to do that. Right. So then I'm in the car and I'm thinking like, I actually thought I wasn't going to reply, to be honest. But then I was like, fuck it. Helwani, 10-7 all day, every day. So I just throw back that thing about, thanks for watching.
What pushed you over? What was the moment?
I don't know. I was in the car going back home. It was night. I was feeling good. And I was like, I'm not just going to let this slide. You know what I mean? No, you're not just going to call me a fraud and get away with it. And honestly, I felt bad for Tony. I felt like I needed, Schiavone. I felt like I needed to stick up for my guy. I mean, come on, what a legend. And honestly, I feel like me and Tony Schiavone doing broadcasting together, I mean, I feel like that would put butts in seats. I feel like people would be into that. So that's a deep cut, by the way, from the old WCW days. Poor Tony Schiavone. And so I was feeling good, and then I tweet the thing, and then that explodes. And then the best part is all the freakazoids now come to, Tony's defense and start to tell me about my career, about my life, about journalism, about this and that. Let me explain to you, because poor Dave Meltzer, I see continuing to get compared to me. I am not Dave Meltzer. I have never claimed to be Dave Meltzer. I don't cover pro wrestling for a living. I don't have a wrestling show. I don't have a wrestling site. I don't have a wrestling newsletter. Why do you guys keep comparing me to this guy? Because I may be that guy in MMA? I've never been that guy in this sport. I interview, by the way, just let me tell you guys this. When I signed with BT Sport, the sole thing that I was hired to do mainly was UFC. Go back to the announcement. It was UFC. The problem was someone at the UFC, who, wasn't happy about it, threw a fit, went crazy, did all this stuff, and they were like, all right, well, I guess we can use him in WWE. That was never the plan. So, and it's been great, and I loved it, and it kind of opened this, thing in my brain, like, oh, I could do more of this. Point is, I've never considered myself a wrestling journalist. So I don't know why all of you are all up in arms. I'm having fun. I'm living my life. I feel sorry if you can't have this kind of fun. It was great. So I come back on Saturday, and I'm still like, I don't know, am I doing this? Am I doing that? I find out GSP is going to be there. I know GSP. That's my guy. Text him. Hey, do you want to do a quick chat about this night? All this stuff? Yeah, for sure, bro. He's back there. Sami Zayn is back there. And it's like, what am I doing here? One of these things is not like the other. How did I end up here? I'm just the kid who was sitting in the 400s. I was the kid who was watching GSP against Matt Serra on his couch. Now I'm in the room with him and Sami Zayn. Like, this is insane. Old me wouldn't embrace this. Old me would worry about what other people think. I'm fucking living my life and having a blast and not breaking any fucking rule that you guys want to impose on me. Fuck off. Then they say, you're going to sit out in the crowd and we're going to do like this celebrity shot with you and GSP. I'm like, why am I in the shot? I don't deserve to be here. It's fucking GSP. No. You go out there with him. And so like we do that thing and it's like, look who's here in the crowd. Now, I'm not listening to the broadcast. Take a step back.
That was my favorite part. That was my favorite
Michael
part.
Cole, freaking legend that he is, sees me before the show and says, just wait until you hear how I introduce you. I think he's going to say combat sports reporter, this, that, or the other, whatever. I was like, cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for putting me on. Do the hit. I'm trying to put over GSP. Crowd's going nuts. Fucking GSP is like asking me questions. I'm like, what am I doing here? This all feels like an out-of-body experience. Go to the back, and then my phone explodes because of what Michael Cole said. Michael Cole says something to the effect of, oh, and there's the unbiased journalist, Ariel Helwani, who's
world-renowned as well.
World-renowned, hit you with the hard questions, whether you want to answer them. And I was like, what is going on? This is like 1999 Monday Night Wars, and I'm in the middle of it. What the hell? Yes, what is going on here? And everyone's going nuts over this. Like, I'm getting high fives in the back. I'm like, I didn't do anything. This is incredible. So it was just nuts. Then I went in the back and pretty much just watched the rest. I went out for the Sami Zayn match.
What do you make of that? Yeah. Give us your thoughts on that match.
First of all, guys, the crowd was unbelievable. It was deafening. It was un-freaking-leavable.
When I asked earlier about like, had they been back, I was the low number kind of shocked me because like, why wouldn't you go back there? That crowd looked insane, and the enthusiasm is just, it came through the TV. I'll tell you that.
They are the best, and especially for one of their own. It felt like a GSP title fight back in the day.
It looked really like it.
They didn't touch for 5 minutes. The ups and downs. KO comes out. I really think he should have won. Here I am saying it. I think he should. Oh my God, he's not going to be critical. I think he should have won. I think there was a way. I think there was a way to make him win. We want moments in life. Like I remember when Mick Foley won in Worcester, Massachusetts. He has no connection to Worcester, and I still remember it. And he was running around the. By the way, funny thing is, Schiavone was connected to that moment because for those that don't know, Tony Schiavone was live on WCW Monday Nitro. They had taped Monday Night Raw the week before with Foley winning, and he
spoiled it.
Talk about an own goal. He said, GC, on the broadcast, we want to let you all know that Mankind Mick Foley is about to win the WWE championship or WWF championship on the other show, don't bother changing the channel. Why? Oh, because that guy's a bum. That'll really put butts in seats. What ended up happening? Everyone changed the channel and went to go see Mick Foley win. So it completely backfired on them. And now here he is, like somehow tied to all of this. Fucking surreal shit. Anyway, I wish he would have won. I think there was a way to make him win and then go to WrestleMania and all this stuff. But, you know.
But this is the problem. They have the fight that's after this. I mean, I say fight. I don't know.
Yeah, match.
The match that's after this already determined who's going to be in it. So that's the problem.
You could have split the belts. You could have done one night Sammy Roman rematch. You could have done Cody in the second night. You could have done a triple
split
threat.
The belts, meaning like he wins only one belt of the two.
And then Sammy ends up with one belt, Cody ends up with the other.
Yeah. Because
we have Montreal and Atlanta ruling the WWE world.
That's
you come over now. You're on Raw. I'm on SmackDown. We're both fucking chills.
You being in the middle of the new Monday Night Wars, I did not anticipate, but it's pretty incredible.
Okay, I have to say this. So obviously, I'm traveling right now for a friend's wedding. So I'm also staying with people that none of them are into the WWE world. So I wasn't able to tune into any of this. But when I saw the clip that got cut off of you in the middle of the crowd, I was like, what is going on right now? I was like, this is so ridiculous. Like, this is not when you said you were going to Montreal to do this, this is the last thing I was expecting. I was expecting what you were saying, doing some interviews, doing the voiceover for the, welcome back to Montreal WWE, you being in the crowd, getting the lower third, GSP the next night, like none of this. Like, I was dying laughing when they sent to you.
It was wild. Honestly, after the voiceover thing, like I was good. That thing was pretty well received. Like I was very content. I felt good about it. I felt like I did my part. I felt like I told the story, and then all this stuff was gravy. By the way, my dad dropped me off on Saturday too, and so that was wild also. And then I'll just say that one of the things that I tweeted, as they say in the business, I popped the boys in the back. So many people came up to me. It was like, that was freaking amazing. And it was just great. Like all of a sudden I felt like I was a part of the team, and I was just there for, a weekekend.
You're kind of by default now part of the team. You have to be, right?
And fuck it. I have no problem. And I just want to reiterate to all the people, if I disappointed you by doing this, I don't give a fuck. I am not a wrestling journalist. I am not. I may die tomorrow, and I could forever say that I got to do that. And if that bothers you, if that makes you feel any differently about my interview with Cody, or my interview with Triple H, or my interview with Paul Heyman, or my interview with MJF, who I still think is the best thing right now, or my interview with Daniel Bryan or Thunder Rosa, fine. Go watch someone else. I don't care. I'm not going to live by these bizarro rules that you people want to make for me. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Just watch something else. But I'm going to freaking take these opportunities, and I'm going to, after all the shit sandwiches that I've had to eat over the last 10 years, and there's been great moments, but there's been a lot of shit sandwiches, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have fun. And if I'm not breaking any rules, if I'm not, doing anything that I'd be ashamed of, that I can't talk to my kids about or look at myself in the mirror about, I'm going to do them. And so just to be clear, that's it for me. Like, I'm not a new employee. That's it. I'm done. I left. I said, thank you. That was it. I may just been the Montreal guy. This may have been a one-night stand and great, or a two-night stand and great. And I have zero regrets, and I loved every second of it. If they come back and we talk about something else, would I be open to it if it makes sense? I don't think necessarily me being like a character is the right move. I don't even know. But I would consider anything. But I just want to let you all know so that you can, rest easy at night. I am done. Tony, I am done. If you want to talk about maybe, me helping out the product and cutting, I'll show up on Dynamite for the right price, Tony. I'll shoot over there too if you want. No problem.
I was just about to say, you said you're open to an offer from WWE. Maybe AEW comes knocking at your door.
Listen, you want me to be bought and paid for? Let's start printing out the fraud t-shirts right now. I'll fucking lean all the way in. I don't give a fuck.
I don't understand.
Fraud, unbiased. What do you want me to say? Biased?
I truly can't. Why is it so hard for people to grasp that you're not a wrestling journalist? Why is that difficult? It seems very easy on its face.
I don't know. I think it's because they see the interviews and they're like, oh, you're acting as one. But like, I don't report on the news. Like I'll get a press release that SummerSlam is going to Detroit, and I'll write per WWE press release, but I'm not breaking news. I refuted the Saudi Arabia thing.
But even if you were, you're not. I don't know. It's not your job, and it's not what is compromised in this scenario. I just don't understand
part about it. Anytime I tweet something about pro wrestling, it's like, oh, this is fake. This is entertainment. This is bullshit. This is not sport.
Now it's real. Now it's all real.
Like,
now it's all real.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you do this? Like, they're acting like I went to work for the UFC. And by the way, even if I did, like, okay, there I am. I'm working for the UFC. Like, I remember there was a great Lee Jenkins, a great writer for SI. He went to work for the Clippers. There was another guy who also went to work from ESPN.
Hollinger went to the Grizzlies.
This is life, man. This is life. So I'm telling you now that the reason I didn't tell all of you before is because I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't want to ruin anything. Okay. Now I'm telling you all right now, that was a 1 weekend thing. It was all good. No regrets, bought and paid for. And now I'm a free agent again. So if NWA wants to hit me up, I'll be the hottest free agent in pro wrestling. NWA, let's have a bidding war for my services. But I will say, I like those guys very much. And, it was great to work with them, like Paul and Nick, obviously, who I have the relationship with. So I'm sorry if that bothers all of you that I'm saying that, but it was incredible. It was legit one of the top 10 best weekends of my life.
It sounds like it, dude. It sounds like a full circle moment. It sounds like dreams realized. So I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
I'm very happy for you. Good for you. F the wrestling marks.
F them, man.
But here's my question for you. I need a percentage, right? I need a percentage adding up to 100. The two options are work, shoot. I need 100% of a full pie. How much of your now Tony Khan feud is work, and how much of it is shoot?
Wow. The hard question. See, you're now being a very good journalist by asking this. No, this is not a work. You kidding me?
100 is the answer. Shoot. It's a shoot, brother.
Tony wants to shoot. He's looking for a foil. He has tried to pick a fight with the biggest name in combat sports and wrestling media. He has tried to pick a fight with me. And so I'll say to Tony, I'm sorry about your Jaguars. They shat the bed against the Chiefs. I'm sorry that Fulham is a mid-tier club. And yes, you beat Nottingham Forest a couple of times this year, but guess what? 23 years not in the Premier League, we'll get you back, no problem. I'm sorry that it seems like a lot of people say things about you. I wasn't one of those guys. In fact, I have praised you and your product multiple times. I went to Dynamite in Queens. I don't know what you're so upset about. Are you so upset because I asked you a few questions and you didn't answer them correctly? I don't know. But, like I've said time and again, you come at the king, you best not miss. And once again, he missed. Just like all of them. And let me tell you guys all something. I've had to deal with the likes of Dana White. I mean, if you think I'm afraid of, big bad Tony K, I'm not. I'm just not.
That speech at AEW in Queens didn't put fear in your heart?
When he was on his knees and stuff?
Yeah.
No.
Legendary speech.
No.
That was my introduction to Tony Khan.
I know. I've never met the guy. And prior to that conversation.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Never.
I thought y'all knew each other.
No. I don't know what his thing is. I think he's probably trying to be tough like Dana and all this stuff. But thank you for the tweet, man. Honestly, thank you. It was great. I think it helped me out. And thank you to everyone who's been tweeting up a storm about me and all upset, ruining your weekend. I loved every minute of it. It was fantastic. And thank you to WWE for having me.